Hello, my friend. Welcome to another episode of Organize with Grace. And in this episode, I spoke with Jenny Toe, who is an International Coaching Federation, ICF, Associate Certified Coach, who runs her own coaching practice called River Life Coaching. Jenny is also a qualified lawyer in the UK, Singapore, and Malaysia. She is passionate about coaching individuals to align their lives with their core values and purpose, enabling them to live fully and joyfully. So I hope you enjoy this episode, this conversation, as much as I have. Here we go. Welcome back to Organize with Grace podcast. Do you feel like you're always struggling to get it together? Do you feel like you're burning the candle at both ends? Feeling completely disorganized in your home and life, that it's starting to affect you mentally and emotionally? Well, you've come to the right place if you need encouragement, easy and simple organization tips, or you just want to know that you're not alone in this season of life. Hi, I'm Grace Ramon, your fellow working mom and professional organizer. I believe in you, friend. You can get it together. Now let's get organized. So here I am with life coach Jenny Toe coming from Singapore. This is so exciting that we have connected through this podcast. I can't wait to get to know her with you. And Jenny, thank you so much for coming on to Organize with Grace.
Thanks, Grace, for having me. And thank you so much for accommodating my timing. I know it's really early at your end and it's already way past dinner time at mine. So thank you for adjusting your time so that we can actually connect right here.
You're welcome. You're welcome. So as I mentioned, she's from Singapore. Like she said, it's after 9 over there
Yes.
PM and it's at 6:09 right now as we're recording AM over here in California. But you know what? Technology is amazing and we can connect in this way. So Jenny, I wanted to dive in and ask you, I want to love to know more about your journey and becoming a life coach. So can you tell us about yourself and how you are where you are at this point in your life?
Sure, Grace. Well, my first career is actually in the legal industry. I have been a practicing lawyer for more than 24 years now, so you can kind of guess I'm not a young girl anymore. And I was first exposed to coaching in an organization I was working for in 2015. I was a mid-level manager. I had direct reports. So the organization put us through like a 2-day course on coaching. So that's when I was first exposed to it. I liked it. And I thought to myself, okay, I can be good at this because naturally I've always been an empathetic listener and I really pay attention to what is said and what is not said. But then I have quite a busy job and also 3 kids. So I decided, okay, this is probably not the right time. So I pushed it aside. But the feeling of, um, exploring coaching, being a coach never went away. I just pushed it aside. So 3 years on, around Christmas time 2018, I couldn't push away that feeling anymore. So Grace, I'm a Christian and I've been praying about it as well. And I
Mhm.
felt the Holy Spirit prompting me that this is what I'm supposed to do. Jenny, I called you to do this in 2015, but you said no. So, God let me have that time to struggle to go through all this. It came out so strong. So it's not an easy decision. I had a lot of prayer with my husband. I needed him to support my decision in this. So in 2019, I decided to look for a coaching school. And this was before COVID. So I wanted a face to face school here in Singapore. There are many good coaching schools in Singapore. But again, the challenge was that I had to do it part time. It had to be at night. And I have kids. And I don't want to, sacrifice my time with the kids
Of
for
course.
night classes. So I found this Australian school, and we did remote learning even before COVID. And I'm very old school because for my legal studies, I was in a classroom. So I was thinking, okay,
Yeah.
at this age, I'm doing virtual study, and it's a global student base. But it was wonderful because I connected with people from all over the world. I'm still friends with a lot of them, and it's a very rich experience. And then upon looking back, I was thinking, why did I wait so long? It's that
Hmm.
fear of letting go of the security, like stepping out of the comfort zone. I was scared of stepping out of the comfort zone, but I couldn't suppress that feeling that this is what I'm meant to be doing. So I also planned to launch the business in April 2020 without knowing what was going to happen to all of us in March 2020. So I
Wow.
incorporated the company and all that. And then COVID came, there was lockdown, and I asked God, so what do you want me to do? And upon reflection, I waited so long, right? So this time I decided not to wait. So I went ahead with my plan, launched it in 2020. It's been up and down, but I'm happy to say right now, today, the business is growing. And yeah, this is where we are at right now.
That's exciting, Jenny. That is exciting. And so with that, you mentioned how, gosh, the transition, right, from what you knew, which is in the legal field, to coaching, that must have been scary.
Yeah, so that's what my intellectual mind is
Yeah.
always looking for, like, what's the worst case scenario, and then why are you giving this up? There is this critic in me to say that, you've got
Yeah.
such a good job. Why are you giving it up for something that's so uncertain? But I just felt that God wanted me to do this, to be able to reach out to one person at a time and
Wow.
impact that person's life to a better place. Because I
Wow.
realized that, my one of my core values is honesty, or what you can call integrity. I felt that, God has called me to be a coach, but I wasn't doing it. So in a way, I wasn't honest with myself. That's why there was that something
Mm,
missing. And if you visit my
yeah.
website, I talk about it. Like, what is this something missing? And it
Yeah.
was that I was not living my life according to one of my core values at that time.
Wow, wow, that's awesome. And as you have been you've been practicing as a life coach. So what is the common maybe concern or myth, whatever you may call it, things that hold them back from seeking life coaching services? What have you found so far?
Yeah, interesting question, and it's something I experienced at the start of my business as well. So here in Singapore, maybe people are not too clear about what coaching is, as opposed in the States. So when people think of coaching, they're thinking career coach. So it's not that I don't coach people on career choices, I do, but I believe your life is more than just your job. It's your life,
Yes.
yeah. So it's a more holistic view. But one of the common misconceptions is when I was first, going out there, putting out myself as a coach. I said, when I was talking about coaching, my potential clients would say, "Oh, Jenny, I am actually fine. I don't have any problems. I don't need coaching." Then I realized they were thinking of counseling or therapy. So I had
Got
to
it.
explain that, therapy helps you overcome and pass emotional hurt or pain so that you heal and you recover. Coaching, you may go back to the past, but actually, you are already at a very good place. You could just be blocked in something and you want to get better, or you could be stuck. You can't see the solution because you're too in it. And coaching frees you up to take different perspectives into consideration. And it's just, some can use it as brainstorming. Others say that it's like the coach is holding a mirror in front of you so you can actually
Yeah.
see what's being reflected. So that's one misconception. Another one, when I talk to potential clients, they, in this day and age when COVID is changing so many things in our lives, they feel that, yeah, Jenny, what you're telling me is good, but I don't think it's that urgent because I'm not certain about my job. I'm not certain about what's going to happen to my kids. I can't think about life coaching for myself because there's so many other things that I need to tend to. But then they fail to realize that when you tend to yourself first, when you get better, there is this ripple effect. I believe when I see my clients transform or get insights, I believe that they are bringing that back, that impact back to their workplace, to
Right.
their family, and there's a ripple effect of positivity.
That's awesome. Thank you for that explanation. And with among women, generally, we feel that we have to take care of others first before we take care of ourselves, right? And so that life coaching is something that is important because we have to shift that perspective, like you said, to ourselves, so that I love how you said it, the ripple effect, that happens when we get better, and we pour that onto our husband and our kids, instead of the frustration, right, and the
Yes.
possible burnout, we pour out life, into our kids
Yes, yes.
and
I
our
mean,
loved ones.
your kids can feel it. Your family members can feel it when you're stressed, and
Yeah.
when something is not quite right. So similarly, when you feel that something's going well and you are feeling fulfilled and happy, the people around you will also feel it. They'll feel like, okay, there's a change in her. I wonder what's going on there. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And when we were talking, you touched on this really quickly, and regarding the, especially, me being myself being Asian and yourself being Asian, there seems to be that stigma, right?
Mm.
Like you said, like people feel that seeking life coaching is because there's something wrong, or something that we should be fixing about ourselves, right?
And then, like you said, Grace, we are Asian and we tend to be more reserved and conservative.
Mhm.
So, even after I explain what coaching is, they're
Yeah.
happy. Some of them are happy to, see what coaching can do for them. But others feel that, I don't want to expose my life concerns to everyone. So it could be an element of pride or
Mhm.
an element of fear or an element that if I expose my shortcomings and weaknesses, am I, less of a person? So, I'm not saying that it only shows up in Asians. It's human nature, but I think it
Yes, it
shows up
does.
more in women, especially
Mhm.
they at the workplace they need to show up as being strong and assertive. So if they feel that, oh, if I show up with my weakness, what will people think? But when I assure them that, in a coaching session, it is confidential. I'm not in your life, Grace, so there's no way I can tell on you. And even if I'm in your life, because of the high code of ethics, I'm an International Coaching Federation ICF credential coach. So in order to be credentialed, we go through rigorous training and we have to adhere to a high code of ethics, which I love because in my first career as a lawyer, there are a lot of regulations that we have to comply with to get licensed. So similarly, coaching is not
Mhm.
regulated yet, but I love this idea of really adhering to high standards. So when I assure them of that, then they feel more comfortable. Like, oh, okay, so this is a safe space that I can just tell Jenny what's going on, and she's not judging me. And then we talk and ideas come up.
That's great. That's great. And I would like to know more about, as you have been doing this, have you come up with a unique approach to life coaching?
It's interesting that you asked because my website is called River Life Coaching, and I first came up with my own model of the coaching process based on the analogy of a river representing your life. So it starts with the river source. So what's the river source? The river source, like what we I talked about earlier, is your life values. So for me, it's honesty, it's gratitude, it's spirituality. So that's my source. So if my source is blocked, or if I'm
Mm.
not letting my source come through in the river, that the flow is somewhat disrupted, or it meanders around and it takes a long time to get to the end goal, which is the delta of the river. So that's what I use that analogy. So is your river blocked? Is the flow without smooth and calm, or are you seeing all these rocks and boulders blocking the way? So it's just a matter of taking them through that. What are your values, and are you living your life according to your values?
And how many, typically how many sessions would you need? Is it more of a like individualized? It kind of just depends how often they want to see you, or, is it something where you have like, 4 sessions at a time to take them through what they need to go through, or how does that work for your, for your life
The
coaching?
most popular one that I've been offering is three. You sign up for 3 sessions at one go. I think people just need to know me, and one session isn't enough. So I do offer a complimentary 30 minutes so that people will just see what coaching is about, because some of them have not experienced coaching before, and then when they get that experience, they normally say, "Okay, Jenny, let me sign up for 3 1-hour coaching sessions and then see where that goes." So I have clients who renew after the three, and carry on as well. I think people are just more cautious nowadays with
Sure.
the state of the economy as it is. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. Um, and so typically, I know that, women are, I don't know, maybe I'm generalizing, but women tend to be the ones seeking out the life coaching. Have you seen men come along as well, or are you typically working with women?
I'm working typically with women, but not because I
Mhm.
don't coach men. So I do have male clients as well. I think it's the chemistry. It's not so much the gender. So for me, maybe
Okay.
it's because my network. So that's how I first started, reaching out to my network. So my network is in law and also in banking and finance. So quite a lot of
Got
those
it.
people there. They like me because they probably know my reputation as being a lawyer, and quite a few of my clients are young female attorneys, so there is that mentoring element which I tread carefully, because coaching
Yeah.
again, it's not counseling, it's not mentoring. So mentoring is Grace, like I share my work and life experiences with you, and you take, it's almost I'm advising you what to do. So it's my experiences
Yeah.
that I'm sharing with you. Whereas for coaching, Grace, you are telling me your experiences, you are leveraging from your lessons that you learn in your life. I don't share my life experiences, but you may ask me, what do you see here, and then we can talk about it. But whatever I offer to you, it's entirely up to you to take it, or leave it if it doesn't fit you. So that's the difference. So there are young attorneys coming to me, Jenny, you've been here before, you've been where I at, what should I do? So I will kindly and gently tell them, yes, there are similarities, but
Uh-huh.
everyone's life situation is different, because I believe that when you come up with a solution yourself, you're more committed to it and you're more accountable to it, and then you can't say, oh, Jenny asked me to do that, so I'll blame her for it. When you come up with it yourself, there is no one to blame. It's you are responsible for it. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And that's, and I've heard this said that many times we are aware of what we should do, but just need a Jenny to kind of draw it out, right? Because most of the time we do. And I like what you said about helping to hold that mirror in front of them, and gently, of course, right? Because and you seem to have that personality to be able to do that. And I can see that you are, you're really created for this.
Thank you, Grace. That's
Yeah.
really encouraging. Yeah, so I do ask questions, like what when I said earlier, I can read the verbal cues, of course, but there is something deeper that I sense, and if I'm coaching Christians, I can feel perhaps at certain times I'm prompted to say something, even though that something is difficult. Like if you tell me, it sounds like you're making excuses for yourself, and then they don't see it as an excuse, but I'm hearing
Mm.
actually excuses after excuses. So I put it to them, like you said, with empathy, and it hits them. And they realize
Uh-huh.
that, yes, I've been making all these excuses all along. It's just that I think it's rationalization or justification. And until you have to realize deep down inside, what's holding you back from, living
Yeah.
your life fully.
Right. Right. Yeah. And Jenny, for the listeners who are working moms and just trying to survive the day to day and keeping trying our best to keep the overwhelm at bay. So, what would be a tip that you would like to share for them, generally on a something that they can use on a practical basis, on a daily basis, with trying to kind of keep their ground, I guess, to keep them grounded.
Yeah, I know. I mean, but when you're saying that, it resonates with me because we all wear many hats, and I think we are
Uh-huh.
really good at multitasking. So
Yes.
personally, I would call myself a recovering perfectionist. So I really strive for
Mhm.
perfection at the workplace and at the home front. So I would say practice empathy on yourself. I mean, nothing in life really needs to be perfect. And actually, as Christians, we know we are not perfect. But
Right.
this is just this belief that we need to be perfect. But if you think about it, you know, a lot of things that we do every day, it doesn't need to be perfect. So I would encourage your listeners who are working moms to practice empathy. So if I have kids who are older now, so they do chores, and I know my perfectionist traits comes in, and I'm like, okay, you didn't clear the dining table properly. I I have that urge. Then I realize the main thing is they did it their way, and why am I getting
Yeah.
so stressed about it? So it's just taking that step back and realizing that, hey, you are blessed to have a family who supports you. Things don't have to be perfect. I mean, gone, you don't have to keep looking at the home and living magazine and say, my house doesn't look anything like that. It's fine. Just fill your house and your heart with love, and know that you have people who support you. And leading on to that, it is
Mhm.
not a sign of weakness to ask for help. So for us who are overwhelmed and
Yes.
stressed, ask for help, for your family members' help, or if you do need professional help, ask for professional help. And at the workplace, I know we always seem to need to be strong, but actually asking for help shows courage because you know you cannot do it alone.
That is a wonderful point, and I'm probably gonna quote you on that, so,
Okay, sure.
I love it. I love that because, that's the common thing I have myself experienced, or experiencing also, is that we're taught to be self-sufficient and independent, and which are good
Mm,
things. Those are good things to an extent. I really believe that in the end we are meant for community, for we're meant to depend on one another. Like you said, we need each other's help. And so thankful for folks like you, that that offer life coaching services, because I'm becoming a really firm believer of the fact that we all need help, and we all need some life coaching.
And then by us talking in this podcast, I hope your listeners know that they are not alone. I mean, one thing I find, even
Yeah,
personally, that when I know that someone has gone through what I'm going through, even not similar, I
sure.
feel that, okay, at least someone out there understands, or at least I'm not the only strange one experiencing this. So when I talk to people and they're saying that I can't give this presentation because it's not good enough, then I ask them, does it really have to be that good? Yes, it does, And then when we talk about it, it comes up the realization that, oh, actually, I was so stressed about getting it to be perfect, whereas no one expects it to be perfect. Everyone thinks it's great as it is. So it's all here in my head, and that's amazing. So I can relate to that as well. Grace, I'm also an introvert, so when I coach
Mhm.
introverts, I can hear where they're coming from, especially when their organization expects them to be more visible. So I also coach them how to be visible while still remaining true to yourself. You don't have to do what you're not that comfortable with, but you need to shift your thinking a bit, and take small steps. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. That's a great point, because we often get told, like, well, you need to be more this, more that. But I'm like, well, if that's not me, I'm not gonna do it, most likely. So that's a great point. And so To my listeners, if you feel that you are resonating with Jenny and what she is talking about, Jenny, I would love to let the listeners know how they can reach you. And I love that we're so global with being able to reach each other
Yes.
just like that, a snap of a finger. And so, how can the listeners reach you if they would like to have more of a conversation with you or possibly consult with you with your life coaching?
They can visit my website, which is riverlifecoaching.com, or they can find me on LinkedIn, either under my company's name, River Life Coaching, or Jenny Toh, TOH. I'm also on Facebook and Instagram. So I don't think you can go wrong if you just key in Jenny Toh or River Life Coaching. Or, just look at the show notes that Grace will be putting up.
Yes, I will. Yes, I will definitely include all of that information and make sure that you get connected with Jenny. So, Jenny, thank you for such a insightful conversation, and I love the way you have explained even to myself, life coaching and how clearly you've done that. And I hope that my listeners consider at least a session or two or three, whatever helps them in their own life, connect with a life coach like yourself.
Thank you, Grace. Thank you.
Hey, real quick, if you enjoyed today's episode, the best way to thank me is by leaving an iTunes review. If you're listening to me right now on your iPhone, simply scroll down, click write a review within the podcast, and voila, you'll get a chance to click 5 stars and type in how the podcast has helped you. You can also access iTunes on your computer if you're not an iPhone user by downloading the iTunes app. Also, I offer virtual organizing, and that means we get to hop on Zoom together wherever you are, and I can help you organize your space for a fraction of a price that you would spend hiring an in-person organizer. Contact me by email, hello@organizewithgrace.com, so you and I can get started. I offer a free 15-minute assessment to see if we're a good match to work together. So get on it, girl. Stop being stuck on your organizing journey. I'll help you walk forward so you can finish that organizing project that you've been procrastinating on. No judgment here. I've done it myself, but you know what I'm talking about, girl. All right. Can't wait to talk to you. Bye.